Just a background setting to the game I'm playing here on Facebook, which is based on the fictional account that I'm writing and I'm going to publish in a book. Okay, and this is the account. Okay, someone was born, actually it was 1964, and that person actually is me, but it is a fictional account. And then because of a series of circumstances, which included, among other things, telepathy, which I have all the time, or on and off, as my inner dialogue, in my storyline, who is God himself, and pretends to be my dad, although I don't know if that may be the case, because I'm still very human. So, set me up with. So everybody identified me as the one who would be fulfilling the world being engrossed with its own affairs, mostly Christian, Muslim, and Jewish religious expectations. But then I really am not interested in world religions, but you can also trace it to Hinduism and Buddhism and Zoroastrianism, okay? It may include some other religions like Indian and Maahdi religion and Sikh. I'm not interested. I could just Wikipedia. I guess I will at some point, but I haven't yet. So anyhow, so I was identified, and then in the storyline, they looked at the text about this guy who appears to fulfill the future, representing God intervening in the world again. And then they located prophecies in Islam specifically and Christianity, which were contradictory. Islam saying that I would depose all kings and there would be a world of peace and justice, and Christianity saying that I would, as Jesus, a role which I was told not to accept and which I refused formally. Um, I would name these kings, right? So these kings would become effectively, according to Christianity, kings by divine right, the absolute power, and according to Islam, they would become abolished. Okay, something which God can do, I suppose. But in any event, so then this whole situation became very grotesque in my storyline because, in fact, responding to these prophecies that people have read in the Bible and in the Quran and in sort of Muslim scriptures and in the Old Testament. The Old Testament talks about all the kings of the world going to Israel. So, they basically set themselves up and they said, well, we're going to force God to do what is in our interest. And so, according to my storyline, they set up Al-Quaeda. Okay, and then they started hassling me. At the time, I was very sick and I couldn't take care of myself. And then I got much, much better. And then, at midnight, according to my storyline, 2 birthdays ago, as my plane was about to take off for Seattle, God told me that the guy who had the idea to bomb the World Trade Center in my storyline was Elliot Henry. Okay, and so the whole plane noticed, and then the whole story started unraveling. And in the meantime, these people were being very abusive, telling me in the storyline, telling me I was low class and all kinds of horrible things and stupid and unworthy, because they keep on telling me in the storyline that I'm stupid because they come from a class of people that are convinced that if they have more than $1,000, it's because they're smarter than everybody else. They're real low lives, they're sort of they're sort of up and coming businessmen in Italy who haven't been that successful to get an enlightened life outlook. Okay, and that sort of projected itself in part of my family because some in the storyline family members adopted sort of the bourgeois mentality in Italy. Okay, I'm American, so I have no part about it. I don't like Italy either. I mean, I have nothing against it, but I just don't go there. But anyway, in this storyline. So, saying how they got together and they set up Al-Qaeda. Okay, and then Al-Qaeda was to create Islamophobia. The people that set up Al-Qaeda were the kings of this world, all of them, absolute monarchs in the Middle East, constitutional monarchs in Europe, wannabe restored monarchs in countries like Greece and Portugal, etc., etc. And so they got together, they paid for, and they organized and they orchestrated Al-Qaeda attacks, and also included this family of people that wanted to marry me, this girl, who used to be my friend when I was about 15 in high school, but I mean, we've lost touch, and she has a really destructive personality, and she's just the kind of person I don't like, okay? And she's not that smart, and she's not pretty, and she's got a really low self-esteem. So, God, I hate people with really low self-esteem. So, anyway, so with all these insults that came, then God, when I decided not to go to Saudi Arabia to become the head of Islam about 3 years ago, I told my religious leader I'd go when I'd be in my late 60s. I was still Muslim back then. And so then God started speaking to me and told me I'd become an angel. So you know what? I said, listen, these honors in this storyline that the world is offering me, like those ridiculous Windsors in England, who are very aristocratic and have a lot of famous ancestors, but they don't have much to show for themselves today, do they? But in any event, they must have really lost all their traits and qualities through generations. But in any event, so the thing is that I basically decided not to go there, and it's been a battle the whole way. You know, in this storyline, it's like my brother in this storyline and my sisters and my cousins who actually did willfully set up Al-Quaeda, and the brother and his family who actually willfully did set up Al-Quaeda and knew about 9/11 before it occurred, witnessed 9/11 taking place, saw the aftermath, and totally accepted that because they thought it would be to their benefit, privilege, and advantage, as did all the kings of the world. Unfortunately, I'm afraid to say, including Queen Margaret, who's just a queen that I really like, because she's very charismatic, but she knew about all Al-Qaeda attacks before they occurred as well. So in the storyline, so it's a book I'm writing, which is a fictional account, right? Which sort of is 99 correspondence with the events that took place in my life. So anyway. So then now we've reached the point where I'm getting hassled about 30 times a day to work with these people according to Christian prophecies, these people who are basically terrorists. So I set up this game where, you know, in the storyline where, you know, we daily vote, we decide whether they're guilty or they're not in terms of the events that have occurred up to the day and in terms of the daily events. Okay, I get hassled about 30 times a day. So as long as I'm hassled, the daily vote is guilty, as I already said. And the events that have happened so far, it also is guilty. Okay, all the kings knew about all Al-Qaeda attacks, and they thought they would get unlimited, you know, seigneurial rights, you know, sort of privileges of sort of feudal, you know, antediluvian privileges deriving from nobility as a result of Al-Qaeda being set up and using me in Christian prophecies. And I was a person who couldn't take care of himself and couldn't even read a paragraph. Now I've become very smart, and God has told me these people are terrorists, and He's telling me work with me, I can do anything and everything for you, and He's promised me to make me eternal in the storyline again. And then, you know, so the thing is, I set up this game, so I would say they're still definitely guilty. And, you know, now I'm going to get to see whether I actually become eternal or not. What has been really amazing is that the effect in my life that was promised to me is like being widespread in the whole world. The explanation for that in the storyline is that it's a day of judgment and paradise is going to be set up. Okay, so, you know, so paradise is going to be set up in the storyline, and you have these little sort of 99 IQ point terrorists who tell me, work with us, work with Christianity, cough, cough, cough. We're going to block all your bank accounts. Okay, in this storyline, they've also blocked all my business all over the world. I inherited a bit of money. Okay, not that much though, but anyway, so it's all blocked in this storyline. So, and it's also blocked in my real life. It's just one of those things that can never be explained what the correspondence is between my real life and the story I'm writing. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye bye.